Good morning, everyone. We're continuing here in the Kitzur Shulchan Aruch in the laws of Ribis. A person is not allowed to lend somebody a saw tevua, a saw of produce, which is a measurement of produce, in order that afterwards the borrower is going to return the exact amount of produce. Even if we're talking about the same things, you borrowed let's say 12 pounds of apples, you're going to pay back 12 pounds of apples, you can't do it. Why? Because maybe the price of the produce will rise. And even though that I'm returning the same 12 pounds of apples back to the lender, but since that the price went up, initially when he gave it to me, those 12 pounds cost $12, and now they cost $15. So I'm giving the lender ribis. I'm not allowed to do such a thing. So what should you do then? How do you avoid this problem? Yasenu damim. What you should do is, at the time of the loan, you should evaluate how much or assess how much the value of the produce is, and you know that it was $12 worth of apples. So then, if at the time of the payback the price of the produce went up higher, so then you wouldn't return the produce, rather you would end up returning the money instead. And that way you'll avoid the prohibition of ribis. Now, even though that we said when it comes to loaning large amounts of produce, we have to go according to the market value. However, says the Kitzur, udvar katan, nevertheless, when it comes to a small item, people not really care so much about the price, the rise or the fall in the price, because it's so minimal. In that case, it's permissible in all circumstances to borrow and to pay back the exact item itself. Therefore, it's permissible for a woman to loan her friend an entire loaf of bread, and even though that, let's say, when the friend ends up giving back the loaf of bread, it went up by a few pennies, or even 20 cents, whatever it might be. So it's not something that people are makpid, are very strict about, and therefore you could return the actual loaf of bread. Otherwise, how could you ever go to the neighbor and borrow a cup of sugar? How could you go to the neighbor and borrow a cup of flour? It wouldn't work, because you'd always be concerned that the price is going to go up, and you have to know how much one cup of sugar would cost so you can give back the money. But since that it's such small amounts of product that we're borrowing, and it's small amounts of money that might be going up, therefore in all of those cases it's going to be permissible to lend such a small amount and to return such a small amount exactly the way that it was. Okay, that's the halachas for today. Be'ez Hashem, we shall continue tomorrow. All the best.